let me give you a visual aid for this next one, okay? Let me get out of here.
Yes.
What do I have here, Kyle?
That is a glass of water.
It's a glass of water, okay? Special Christmas edition, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's good
It says
stuff.
a Griswold Christmas on it. I don't know if you can see that. This is a glass of water, and this has been used. Psychiatrists have used this. Different people to read the mind, because you can describe this glass of water in a few different ways. Okay, this is either a glass half empty or a glass half full water. Okay, so I'm using that example because I don't know what to make of this Wichita State basketball team right now. You can take a very positive aspect on it, or you can look and say, man, there's some problems. Okay, so let's say you're a glass half full kind of guy. I'm going to ask you what you are regarding this Shockers team. Okay, are you a glass half full or glass half empty kind of guy? If you are the glass half full kind of guy, if you've got the positive, what you're saying is right now we are 9-2. Shockers are 9-2 with 2 quality losses. You didn't lose to bad teams.
Right.
You lost to a Big 12 team, Oklahoma. That was a big game. You lost that one. You lost a super close one to a nationally ranked Notre Dame. That was,
by 1 point.
By 1 point, a few thousand miles away in a big atmosphere. So yes, so those, close losses, that's fine. Quality losses. Everyone else, you've taken care of business. You've beaten everybody else. You're undefeated at home, and you are nationally ranked, number 11 right now in the AP poll. So things are going good, and you've done all of that without your leading scorer from last year, Marcus McDuffie, who's coming back soon. And now you're in a conference with a strength of schedule where you don't have to worry about your resume, where you've got some big games coming up, and things can go really well if you play well. So there's a lot to be excited about. There's a lot to be happy about. Or are you a glass half empty kind of guy in which you say, yeah, we are 9-2, but this has been an ugly 9-2. Forget play angry. This is playing ugly. Okay? So Savannah State gave you some problems. You were losing to Savannah State close to halftime. You were losing to Arkansas State at halftime. You're losing to South Dakota State in the second half, I believe. So many. You've had, out of your 11 games, 7 times you've had a player go for 20 or more points.
Wow.
Against you. Yikes! You Shockers cannot handle a zone defense. You can't beat a zone defense. And when you are on defense, you can't stop the three-pointer. You're giving up wide open threes to, again, San Diego State and Arkansas State, South Dakota State and Arkansas State. So there are some serious problems here, and man,
yeah,
changes need to be made. Okay, panic time. So where are we, Kyle? Are we? Should we be glass? Here's my glass. Should we be glass half full kind of guy and say, listen, we've taken care of business, we've pulled it out, we're okay. From now on, things are going to be good? Or do we say glass half empty? Oh my goodness, there are some problems with this team that must be addressed, or it's going to get even worse.
First off, I want to say this glass looks more like 2/3.
Okay, I'm
full.
drinking a little bit of it because it does. You're right.
But to go with your wonderful metaphor and illustration, my mindset keeps changing on this topic.
Yeah.
If you would have asked me this weekend, I was completely down the dumps, not only with the Shockers, but with my fantasy football team.
Oh yeah.
And other things. So I would have been very glass half empty this weekend.
Yeah.
Today, surprisingly, even after the game last night against Arkansas State, I'm glass half full. I'm more of an optimistic. I have more of an optimistic attitude right now. I believe. I mean, if you look at the game last night, Shockers were without 2 starters, McDuffie and Connor Frankamp, who was out with a migraine.
Yeah.
If you're a team without 2 of your starters, there's a good chance you're going to struggle, even against a team like Arkansas State. And so I think once you have all these pieces back, Zach Brown, I think, is still nursing a knee injury. He's been playing, but he's not 100%. You get all these pieces back, you figure it out, and I think the Shockers are still a top 10 team with all those back.
Yeah. Yeah, there has to be some middle ground there, I suppose, because I do think there are some issues. I do think
the defense does concern me a little bit.
Yeah.
But Marshall's track record says, trust him, he'll figure it out, and I think he will.
I think there was a reassessment or a correction, so to speak, especially on the ranking. This team is not the number 3 team in the nation, not from what we've seen so far. Is the potential there?
Oh yeah.
I think the potential is there, but I don't know about you, but especially this entire season, this past off season and the season up until now, I'm getting tired about just talking about potential. So, because we've done it so much and we've said how good they are, and they are good, but we're not seeing that in the game consistently. We're seeing spurts of it. We're seeing parts where the Shockers look unstoppable,
Right.
but then we're seeing other parts where they're losing to Savannah State. And I don't know what to make of that because I turn the TV on and I'm not sure what Shocker team I'm going to see.
Now, I want to point something out here, which is kind of unusual. It's more of a psychological element.
Mm-hmm.
But Wichita State is now a top program in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of these lesser teams are coming to Koch Arena, and they have this mindset of, hey, Wichita State is their Duke, their North Carolina, their Kentucky on their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And this is their biggest game in their non-conference, and so they're gonna give it their all. They're gonna shoot lights out for several minutes, which is completely against their norm. And so I think we're seeing a little bit more of that now as the Shockers are ranked higher and higher and get more respect.
That's a good point. You could say that same thing about previous seasons with in the Missouri Valley, every team brought their best against Wichita State, and that is true too, but it's different out of conference between in conference. In conference, Greg Marshall and the team, they know exactly what to expect. They have all the tape they need, the film they need. They can talk to other coaches within the conference and see what they're doing. There's a lot more you can know about a team when you play them every single year, twice a year, whatever. That's not the case when you're talking about South Dakota State, Savannah State, Arkansas State, all these just far-flung teams that is kind of a one-and-done situation. You don't know who to call to talk about what Savannah State's going to game plan on you again. So there is a difference. I get that's a very good point, very valid point. Other teams are bringing their A game. So there is reason to be concerned.
Yes.
But there is also still plenty of reason to look for reasons to be happy about the Shockers. Especially, let's put it this way: there has been no irrevocable damage.
No,
there has been nothing.
That's the blessing. Because
Yeah.
I mean, what's the worst case scenario right now? The Shockers stumble a few times in conference and end up with a 7 or 8 seed. Like, to me, that's like the worst possible scenario.
Yeah.
And you're still in the NCAA tournament.
Very good.
You still have a chance of winning it all. And so we have to kind of readjust like our worst case scenario this year as opposed to last year or previous seasons. We have a higher ceiling and a higher floor right now.
Interesting. Good stuff. Yeah, that's just what I was thinking with the glass half empty, glass half full.